enjoy all the people you're working with, and you have a great time doing it, and you make lifelong friendships. And then the bonus is that people appreciate it. And we've all done movies that people don't appreciate. And so this is one of those that I think we all are associated with till the end of our days, I guess. This is it makes it extra special to know that people really appreciated it. And in terms of just the one thing I'll say about Heath is just that this was his first sort of foray into American films, and he had done a series in Australia called Roar that he was the lead in, and he had done a couple of Australian films, like independent Australian films, but this was his first big shot, and I just remembered distinctly how serious he was about this, how important it was to him, and also how somewhat he was grateful for all the opportunities that were coming his way. And there were many while we were filming, and he was getting scripts for the next thing and the next thing. And I just remember him feeling at times slightly sort of bewildered and overwhelmed by, oh my God, this is happening to me. Because he was, like any of us, just kind of a normal, sweet guy who really appreciated his opportunities. And this was the first of many to come, obviously. And I think for me personally, when I look back at it, I feel I cherish the idea that I was sort of there for the beginning of what was to be something very, very special, and unfortunately very short-lived. But yeah.
And that's why tonight's totally dedicated to Heath. So when we see his face, when we see his credit name, we need to make like a thunderous applause, please, because this is for him. 200 something of you here, so let's do some questions. Put your hands up if you have a question.
I think we answered.
Awesome.
That girl, man.
One there. There's one over here.
How long have you guys known each other, like before you guys started writing together?
We started writing the night we met, actually.
Yeah, we
Like
did.
how old were you? How was it? Like, high school?
We was 17 years ago. Yeah. Truly.
I mean, did you guys meet like in high school and you guys hit it off, or?
No, I was living in Denver and I was writing screenplays, and she was working out here as a development girl at this little I thought she had a very high-powered, fancy job, but she did not. So I sent her my scripts, and she liked them, and we met for cocktails, and then we just started writing on cocktail napkins that night.
We met for a drinks meeting, but then it turned into 230 drinks, and we started
I can do the
brainstorming.
connection, the Coronas, the drinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Writer's cues?
But yeah, we started writing a script on the night that we met on cocktail napkins, and that script was not. We wrote that script, but it was not ever produced because it was about girls who kill Navy SEALs with their bare hands. It was kind of but then we got
Good spot idea.
but then we wanted to write a teen movie, and this was the result of that. So this was our second script we wrote together.
So I'm just saying you guys are best friends now.
We're like sisters, man.
I'm her longest
I'm trying to get the chemistry.
It's true, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right there.
As a Tacoman, and an alumni of Stadium High School with several of my fellow alumnus.
Oh, that's
Do you have any good stories about Tacoma? Anything you liked about it? Because we got to live in the shadow of Seattle, and it's always fun when celebrities come to Tacoma and whatnot. I'd love to hear any fun stories you have about Tacoma. I'm looking for a shout out to Tacoma.
We get it. Well, there was a good pizza place. There was a stink that pervaded the paper mill,
The
right?
aroma of Tacoma.
Yeah. Tacoma aroma. the bellboy at the hotel was a cool weed hookup. It was pretty cool about it.
And you heard all our stories involved like being at the hotel and smoking weed. That was the weed.
That was basically our high school experience, was not the hotel, but all the weed, I suppose.
I remember there was a very angry limo driver in Tacoma that we hired one night. And we hired him to take us to a strip club because we couldn't get them all into bars. Kirsten and I were, super responsible adults. And because I was the one who hired the limo and my name was on the thing, he started yelling at me at the end of the night because I was letting the cast drink and smoke in the limo. And I had to explain to him that I was not their guardian nor their boss. I was their peer and their coworker, and that they were kind of like my bosses actually, and he didn't really understand that at all. So if you ever run into him, give him my apology.
One, and then we'll do you. Yep, in the front.
Yeah, a question for David. So was the dick on her face line improv, or was that in the script?
I was in the script.
That was based on a friend of mine in college who passed out and his roommates drew a dick on his face. And then he got up and went to the 7-Eleven across the street to get a big gulp, not knowing the dick was on his face. And I just thought that was funny. So.
It's awesome that every once in a while I'm walking on the street and someone comes up to me and says, I have a dick on my face, don't
Yeah, is there somebody who just couldn't get their lines right, possibly from smoking too much weed or something?
No. Everyone had
Or any funny moments involving scripts, revisions, or anything?
Bloopers?
No, we were super professional.
I don't know what he's talking about.
But we rocked it. We fucking rocked that movie. We were a sick cast. Like, it was like one of those things where like we came to play. The only thing I remember like that is that I didn't know how to ride a bicycle before the movie. And I had to learn how to ride a motorcycle, which was intense, having not known how to ride a bicycle. And motorcycles are dangerous. You really shouldn't. If you ride a motorcycle, you really probably should stop. But basically, like Disney was frugal, which is a nice way of saying cheap, enough to not hire an actual like instructor, and instead hired like some guy from Transpo, the transportation department, to take me out, teach me how to ride a motorcycle, and he would take me to these giant fields where I could roam free and whatever. And then on the day we showed up to work and it was like, so here's what you got to do. You got to start up, make a sharp 90-degree turn, stop in front of camera, start up again, and veer off to your right. Which anybody who owns a motorcycle knows that's not easy. That's kind of a weird. And it's in the outtakes, right? I think where like, so I pull up next to you in my motorcycle and I'm talking to you. And the first take or something, like, I was nervous, and I revved up way too high, like, and I knew, like, the second I let go, I'm gonna fucking, take off. And I hit the camera, not the camera, I hit the dolly and everything, not the, whatever the fuck that's called. And I bounced off of it, and I, like, lost control, and my stuntman jumped in front of the bike and took the hit. Like I hit him with the bike. And he's like, his leg got all fucked up and I fell on the floor. And meanwhile, the camera's still on Joe. And Joe's great, he stayed in it and he was like, but you could see the slide, you can see, if you watch it, you can see him working it out and he said, oh my God, David Krummel's just hit the stunt guy.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again, everyone. Kirsten, Karen. This has been fantastic. Like I said, this is my 10th event. It's perfect. It's 10 things I hate about you. I don't get paid for this. I do this for fun. You guys coming out there telling me how much fun you had, how awesome this is, telling me to do this movie. It means everything to me. Thank you to my best friend Crystal up in the front right here with the orange light. And Mark Dallin, who's the programmer and booker who let me do this. And once again for David, I made some kind of impression of Harold and Kumar because he's the one really responsible for this. So thank everyone, especially those people.